Greetings and salutations, and welcome to episode 181 of Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry, back in the driver's seat. Trev is back here with me, both of us out last week. You'll notice Stoner not here. He had a family emergency. We're sending all of our thoughts and love towards him and his family. So I don't want to get into the details for it because it's his business, but just if you have any good vibes you want to send towards Stoner and the Stoner family, we'd appreciate that. So episode 181 here, the gold pants return in the warm-up. JD5's best friend Brandon Aiyuk continues to cause problems. One analyst says we should be trading away Jonathan Allen, and the Washington Football Mount Rushmore. We have given it to you to come up with the final head. We'll hear Trev's Mount Rushmore and then also find out who that fourth head is, all here on episode 181. It's good to be back, Trev. I had some family friends come into town last week, which is why I was out. It was good hanging out with them, but man, oh man, did I miss talking football, even if it is right here in the middle of Nowheresville, where we don't get to have a whole lot of stuff going on. But how about you?
Yeah, I was doing some family stuff. We had a 4th of July festival downtown, vendors, food, music. So I just did that. But I did miss talking about football too, in the Nowheresville of the season right now. But it was a nice little break too to get with the fam. But hey, we're back now, so.
Yeah, it is such the doldrums of the NFL, but it's not the only action that you can find on Bet Online, who's your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Baseball, golf, soccer, all happening right now, as well as the top fights in UFC and MMA and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to their online casino and get on a game of blackjack or poker. Unwind with one of the over 150 slot games. Head to the website today and get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online, the game starts here. And of course, we encourage you, if you're taking part of any of that action, to bet responsibly as well. I love using other people's money and then not using my own money. So maybe that's something you can do as well. So I do appreciate everybody who's been in the chat. Trev, it's been blowing up over here as Locked On Law, Nicole, Joseph, Doug, initiating some great conversation about our topic later on. And I have a couple of his comments starred here as well. We have those three going back here. Brian's in the house, Roger's in the house as well. We appreciate everybody. Big E here as well. We appreciate everybody who could jump on and be a part of the live conversation, because we do stream live every Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And we appreciate those who jump on. And if maybe you're one of the ones that listen to us on your favorite audio platforms after we're over and we load it up there, we appreciate that as well. Wherever you are, we appreciate you. Just make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and here on YouTube, and also make sure you hit those auto downloads on your favorite podcast platforms as well. I think that is the housekeeping that needs to get done. So if you're watching the replay of this, you hopefully have skipped to this point right here, where we're actually going to get into the content for today's episode. Let's talk about what was announced, and people went pretty happy about this. This was overall, I think, a pretty happy reunion with the gold pants, and Trev, you seem to be a big fan of these as well.
I am. It's adding some more flavor to our uniforms. I already had some flavor, you know, the whole new Commanders outlook and the black uniforms and the white and the burgundy. And it's also paying homage to those who insist on having the name changed back to Redskins and live in the past. It's paying homage to that too, bringing the gold actually back more than just the numbers for the burgundy and gold. I like it. But as pre-show, Nathan said, they are gold pants. And of course, we wouldn't be the Washington Commanders fan base if we didn't have something to nitpick about. So I'm going to go ahead and start that train. I like the gold pants. I'm not saying they're bad. But maybe in the future we could add a stripe back to it, or some kind of accent to go along with that gold pants idea. But I still love the look. It's great. But of course, it could be a little bit better, but I'm still grateful for him. So I just kind of be that person and start the nitpicking train.
It's definitely one of those things you just kind of throw into the middle of July just to keep people happy. I don't think this was the uniform request people had, right? A lot of people wanted the stripes coming back or the old logo back. And of course, this did renew some of that discussion around the previous name and logo, which is still ongoing within the Montana senator and all that kind of stuff. We're not here to discuss that. We're talking about a pair of gold pants. I will say that this image, if you're watching it live here with us now, that is my favorite combination. For the record, the burgundy on gold is by far the best uniform combination we have. And it's great. And I love the current burgundy gold, the burgundy jerseys. I think the old ones are great too, but I like the current ones. I think that out of the jerseys, that's my favorite. The black has grown on me and the white is just okay. I've never been a big fan of white jerseys though, but that's also because I'm a slob. And I'm about to get that ketchup and mustard onto that jersey. And it doesn't, I know people tease it about being ketchup and mustard or the McDonald's, fries container, but they don't match. You can't spill ketchup and mustard on your jersey and think that, it'll just blend right in. It doesn't. I speak from experience.
Not even close.
So what's your favorite combination, Trev?
The all whites I'm a huge fan of.
I do think
they're
that's
icy. For a while they were like a good look uniform there. We were winning games in the all whites. But those were super clean. And then the all black is I think just too much black. The numbers are gold and the numbers on the helmet are gold, but everything else is just black. And I think we're more burgundy gold than black, but I think that's my least favorite. It's all black. I want to see burgundy and the gold pants. Even though Yam, if you're out there listening, he tweeted me and he said we look more and more like the Steelers. Maybe, but we'd have some key giveaways that we're Washington Commanders.
If we can just start winning games like the Steelers, I don't think it'd be a problem. I don't think it'd be a problem at all.
But I'm gonna have to go back with you. It's the burgundy top and the gold bottom. That's all the greats played in that. All the best memories we've had as a Washington football fan happened in the burgundy and gold. The Chris Cooley's, the Reeds, tight end, Alfred Morris. You just keep going and going and going. So burgundy and gold, I like that's probably my favorite too.
Big E here calling for the black top, gold visor, gold pants, black and gold socks. Call it the Murder Inc. for the defense when they wear it.
See, that'd be cool. More colors with the black, not just solid black.
Yeah, I don't mind. The all white is pretty crispy. I do like that. That's fairly sharp. The all black, I really actually only want to see either the all white or the all black. If it's a whiteout game, call it a whiteout game, or a blackout game, and call it a blackout game, and encourage fans. I wish more and more teams, and I get that NBA is different from NFL. The stadiums are so much larger, but I love that. If you watch NBA playoffs, how about those Oklahoma City Thunder? Okay,
yeah, that's what,
every game they had a shirt there for the viewers to watch. The people who bought seats got a t-shirt that went with it, and it just looks so good when everybody's in that same color scheme. It's fantastic.
It really does. I mean, even they do it in college. So why can't we just go ahead and make that a thing in the NFL?
Something.
I mean, we probably could, but everybody else's fans invade our stadium. So if we did a blackout, it'd be like a quarter of the stadium all black, and the rest Giants fans, Eagles fans.
Could you imagine?
You know what I mean?
FedEx Field, and somebody, somebody's going to go around to just take all the t-shirts, right? That's what's going to happen is somebody's just going to be pulling all the shirts, and you're going to come to your seat and be like, "What?" Yeah, it's it is what it is. I think the stripes. I agree with someone who had said that they've gone out of style. I don't think that's what people are wanting, and that's not where teams are moving to, because it's not that's an old school look. That's not the new school look. People talking about whether or not, they cheer for, them wearing tutus or polka dots. I agree. I'm not really they kept the color scheme. I thought that was a big deal. Right. Burgundy and gold is like the big deal. The jersey looks, I follow a lot of European soccer. They have different kits every year. Like and some of them go hard, and some of them are awesome, and then some of them you're just like, I don't have to buy one this year because they don't
like the lime greens and
it's just like we're good. We're good. I don't need to look like I'm hailing in a 747 on the tarmac. It's not what it is here. But I do appreciate those. You have baseball who had they change up some of their uniforms. You have the City Connect from the NBA. Locked on Law here. You want cherry blossom football uniforms?
That would be dope.
I'm just saying it would be kind of awesome having these one-offs that would be kind of that do connect to DC or connect to the history, a little bit. I think that stuff would actually look really good. And I do think the cherry blossom Nationals gear, fantastic. I can't believe they weren't going to continue that one looked awesome. But I tell you what, we've talked about 10 minutes worth of gold pants, and I think that was about as 10 minutes as I can get, because I agree with those people who said this is not really football, right? This isn't something, but it was something that was big, and I think a lot of fans are excited about it, and it will be. I think it'll be nice to see this back in that connection, a further connection back to our past. I'll tell you what, stick around with us. We are going to be talking football and friendships coming up here in the game. Welcome to episode 181's The Game. We're going to be talking about Jayden Daniels and his BFF, Brandon Aiyuk, who we've talked about a couple times on the show on whether or not Washington should go after him. But that's not the discussion here today. In fact, I want the discussion more centered around, should Jayden Daniels distance himself from Brandon Aiyuk? As the situation, Trev, continues to get a little weird. I thought that the one video already was weird, right? The one where he's sitting on his couch and he's talking to Jayden Daniels. He's saying, they don't want me back. Yeah, that was awkward.
That was real awkward.
And now we have Brandon Aiyuk still in the middle of negotiations with San Francisco, where it seems like it's not going to happen. All of a sudden posting on his IG tape of Jayden Daniels during minicamp practices. Like there's only one place to get it.
Yeah. Well, so hold on. Before this, Brandon Aiyuk went on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark and Fred Taylor, and he brought Jayden Daniels with him and kept referring to, hey, there's a quarterback right there. I can do things with him right there. I've done things with him right there. I'll do things with him. So, and then this. It's just, I don't know if I could really blame Jayden Daniels right now. I'm pretty sure he spoke his piece on how he feels about BA and playing with BA. And I'm pretty sure he's probably spread that to even the front office or a coach or two or a player or two. He's probably let some people know. But this is Brandon Aiyuk, okay? I don't know if necessarily if Jayden gave him the practice film. They're there watching it together. It's not a good look, but I just don't see Jayden Daniels giving Brandon Aiyuk anything like this for him to watch. Yeah. Knowing if that's his best friend, he's going to post something like this. So it's kind of hard for me to blame Jayden Daniels right now. I don't know about distancing himself from Brandon, but this is Aiyuk. He clearly does not want to be in San Francisco. He's come out publicly 3 times saying that, whether it's they don't want me back, I can play with Jayden anywhere, I can play for the Steelers, or I will just post a picture, a still frame of mini practice from where a potential team I want to go play for. He clearly is not. It's not going to happen in San Francisco. You've seen this before. John Lynch said the same thing about Trey Lance. We're keep him. And then what did he do? Traded him. Same thing. We want Brandon Aiyuk. We're trying. We're going to trade him.
I know a lot of people are pretty excited about Brandon Aiyuk as a solid wide receiver to add, and that's fair. I think the excitement's there. I just don't see Adam Peters giving up draft capital on a player who's going to hit free agency next year. Meaning, if they want to keep him, they're going to have to pay for him, and so I just don't see that panning out that way. And all this stuff with Jayden Daniels, it honestly makes me not want him in the first place, even if when he hits free agency, because this kind of behavior, like wide receivers are known as being divas. Okay. There's nothing new about that, but this behavior, I don't know that this is diva behavior. I just think this is punk behavior.
Ooh.
I mean, Trev, am I wrong here? I mean, we're talking about publicly taking the QB, your friend, and using him as a bargaining chip publicly, not once, but 2 times, 3 times. Like, this isn't behind closed doors going, I got my buddy, JD over here. Why don't you call up, your old boy, Adam Peters, and work something out?
Right.
That's not what's happening. What's happening is he's going to social media, and this is how this day and age works. Okay. Players are going to go to social media. They're going to leverage it. Lord knows teams go to media and start pushing out. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. Anytime a Dallas Cowboy star wants to renegotiate a contract or is looking for a big paycheck, all of a sudden the Dallas media starts pushing out stories about how they're not good teammates, about how there's this issue, that issue. CeeDee Lamb's going through it. You saw the other 88s go through it. It's nothing new when it comes to that. Ezekiel Elliott went through it. It's just what happens. Teams push that narrative so that way they can drive down the contract. And so the players have social media as their tool to go. So I'm not saying that's a punk move to use social media, but it is sure as heck a punk move to be using your friend who's the QB of an NFC rival, right? This isn't an AFC being shipped away to someone who I'm going to see once every 4 years. This is going to be potentially, depending on how things shake out, could be once a year. It could be a playoff matchup. Like, this just doesn't make sense to me what Brandon Aiyuk is doing to Jayden Daniels.
No, it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't make sense at all. If you're unhappy, tell me you're unhappy without telling me you're unhappy. He's doing it right now 3 times. On the Pivot podcast, he said he had one more meeting set up, and if it doesn't go that way, then who knows what's going to happen. We don't know when that meeting is. We don't know. And also, we also don't even know when this still frame of the practice was actually acquired. Like, he posted it yesterday or day before, but like, we don't know when he got it. We don't even know if Jayden sent him that. Like, it's just very, very, he's making Jayden Daniels look a little bad. He is doing that.
Yeah. He's dragging him into this.
Yeah. And I don't know if Jayden realizes that right now, which is why I don't want to like blame him, because he's his best friend. Like, he's just thinking like, that's what we're bros, like that we're homies. But BA is definitely using him to try and get what he wants.
Yeah.
And even through the Pittsburgh State, like, it's just messy. It's messy.
Speaking of what he wants, Doug had one in here earlier, a nice conspiracy theory, which I don't have the music queued up for it, so I won't be able to pull it up. But Doug here, I see this as Brandon Aiyuk and Jayden Daniels trying to let the owners know that they do not believe in what the team is doing. Brandon Aiyuk, afraid he may get hurt in final year of the contract, and Jayden Daniels, not enough help at left tackle and wide receiver, that this is a push from both sides to be like, get this done. Get my boy to come here. How much do you think Jayden Daniels is complicit in this?
You're going to have to define complicit for me again.
How much do you think he's involved in the action? How much do you think that he's pushing this? Is Doug's conspiracy theory here? How much do you buy into that? Jayden Daniels is like, well, I want my boy to come here, and I need a wide receiver because all I got is Terry McLaurin, who did not show up to those workouts out in Oregon, right? I don't think
neither did Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
So there's that. I don't I don't think he's that involved. I think he's a little bit involved. I don't know if he knew he was going to be on like recorded on the FaceTime call. He probably knew he was going to go to the Pivot podcast, but he just sat there. I don't know if he knew this was going to be posted or not. But because the way the relationship is, it's like, yes, he probably does know. And then also Jayden Daniels, just from on the outside looking at him so far, how he's handled things, he might not know. So I don't think he's heavily involved. I think he has said a word or two. He has been like, man, what if? But you can see it's not distracting him from what he's got coming up. He's out there working with his teammates, his current teammates out in Oregon. He's working with the backup quarterbacks, the offense. He's doing his things, he's doing private workouts. So he hasn't really lost focus in this at all, which makes me think he's not that involved. It's just Aiyuk is just using him as bait, man, and it's not a good look on Aiyuk either. It's like, why can't you make a case for yourself? Why are you bringing somebody else into it to help make your case? Yeah, you can mention, I would like to play here because of that. Okay, leave it at that. But now you out here posting pictures of practice, bringing them to podcasts, throwing Pittsburgh Steelers in there as another team if it doesn't work out for Washington. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, he's doing too much. So yeah, he's not that involved, Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I don't think Jayden has much of anything to do with this one. And I would even say that I don't think Brandon Aiyuk's goal is to get a new contract. I don't think he's seeing this as having repercussions against Jayden Daniels, which there might not be. I mean, this might just simply be, especially with the photo of practice, might be Cliff Kingsbury and DQ and Adam Peters all sitting down with Jayden Daniels and going, okay, you can't share our content with anybody. Like, we get that you're not involved in this. We appreciate you just trying to keep your mouth shut, because he is, right? Jayden's not said a thing.
Nope.
Okay. He's not, and he could just be getting dragged along for the ride here. But when the picture went out, that was a step, I think, where the team, Washington, was just like, whoa, okay, now we've got an issue. And you've got San Francisco fans calling for tampering and all sorts of stuff. And so now, even if Washington wanted Brandon Aiyuk, now there's an issue of, what was their level of involvement. And they probably don't have anything going on here. I did want to ask Code Talker, fill me in here, unless Trev, you can. Code Talker here saying this is the second time one of Jayden Daniels' friends has put him on blast.
I haven't heard anything else about it.
I haven't heard this either. I'm very interested in seeing what this one is.
Keep it coming, Code Talker. We'll be here for like another 30, 45 minutes. Keep it coming. Yeah. We want to know more.
Deluxe here. Noise for contract is normal. Posting your friend's practice photo crossed the line, whether or not Jayden Daniels knew it or not.
Now,
Big
question.
Yep.
Sorry. If Brandon Aiyuk was a free agent and he posted this, would it be bad?
I think that's a very different situation. If he's a free agent and he posted the image, which likely could have just been Jayden Daniels sharing a clip of a good throw that he made. Jayden Daniels might have had the clip and just sent it to Brandon Aiyuk and said, think if you came here, this would be you type stuff. All right. I mean, probably just something innocent.
Right.
And Brandon Aiyuk went and ran with it. But since he's a part of another team, that really causes issues. And we've seen teams lose draft picks for getting involved in other people's team, dynamics. And so that's what I would like to avoid here. Biggie, can't control what your friends do. Jayden Daniels have been quiet, which is all we can ask for. Absolutely, Biggie. That's a great point here. Nader is the friend who threw him under the bus.
Oh, neighbors? Are they trying to say neighbors?
Neighbors, I imagine, yeah.
Because I see this comment right here too. Someone said the Giant wide receiver with a $10,000 bet.
That's right. C notes. That's right. I forgot all about that. Both Neighbors and Jayden Daniels had to get a talking to, which was such a silly thing. Like these are just kids who are friends who are just like, hey, I bet you 10 grand, which is peanuts to them at this point, that I'll be offensive rookie of the year and you won't be. Like that.
It's just best friends hanging out. They just got drafted, bro. Their dreams came true. Let's go. Come on,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Code Talker confirming that one that it was neighbors. Yeah, this is just that one was such a silly one. That's why I probably forgot about it in there. But thanks for C Notes and Code Talker rebringing that to our attention. Yam coming in, by the way, after the uniform talk.
Told
Black
y'all.
unis are
Told y'all.
terrible, by the way. Appreciate you coming in, even if it's a little bit late to the party, Yam. The situation's weird. I'm hoping it gets resolved one way or another soon. Or at least Jayden Daniels is no longer involved in anything that happens over there, because I really think the more his name gets put out there, the more negative it's looking on him, even though it had nothing really to do with him
at all.
It's not him posting this stuff. It's not him sitting there, we're not looking through his social media like, what is he like, type deal. This is all on Brandon Aiyuk, but Brandon Aiyuk is choosing to use his friend as leverage in the negotiations, and I just feel like that's unfair to the rookie.
And who knows, maybe JD5 is mature enough to realize what's going on and distance himself. Like we just don't know. We just don't know. It's just hard because their relationship is so close, not only on the field but off the field too, which is not helping their case. So
Stoner in the house watching from afar here, encouraging everybody to hit that like button, y'all. And since I mentioned this is Stoner, make sure you guys again are pouring in the love for him and his family. Here I mentioned Stoner in case you didn't catch the beginning, and we just mentioned briefly that you got a family emergency and that's why you're gone, and for people to send all their love and thoughts, happy thoughts your way. So let's stick on Jayden Daniels real quick, but move off Brandon Aiyuk. Something else happened over the last week with Jayden Daniels, which started off pretty fun, and then it took a turn. It took a turn. And Allison here asking for it, our take on this. Any takes on the Hard Knocks clip of Jayden Daniels at the Giants? Again, Giants on Hard Knocks, all that great content. I hate to say this because I've just been so adamant about I don't care about Hard Knocks. Man, would I love to see Washington on Hard Knocks, and we have this level of information and stuff, because to me personally, it was awesome seeing Jayden Daniels on there, and I thought it was fun. I thought that was the spirit of his response, and the clip was used in Hard Knocks, I think, in that spirit. And then people just took it and being like, well, he didn't answer the question, and he doesn't know how to this, and he's going to be bad. And it was just like, whoa, how did he go from everybody was in love with him to now people are trashing him? I mean, not everybody, but he was well loved to now a lot of people thinking that he isn't worth the praise that he's been getting, which has been the highest praise outside of maybe Caleb Williams, even throughout all these camps. But what was your take on the Jayden Daniels Hard Knocks clip?
Nobody's perfect, you guys. Okay? Just because he got confused on a play call or didn't answer a question doesn't mean he's going to be unsuccessful in the NFL. Okay? You still got veterans to this day who probably got the wrong call. Tom Brady held up 4 because he thought it was the fourth quarter or whatever, and it was wrong. He's the GOAT. Okay? Just stop being so nitpicky and petty and trying to find everything that could go wrong and make it go wrong. Stop taking things and running with it. Like, we got him at number 2. We've seen what he's done in minicamp. All we've heard is nothing but great things. Nobody on this staff has said, well, remember that one play that Brian Daboll called on during the interviews? We tried to do that too. He just couldn't get it. No, we're not even hearing that. Like, just chill out. Drake May said he was easy stuff. He might not even be the starter for New England. He was drafted 3rd. Okay? So just everybody calm down. Enjoy the entertainment. Think before you make a comment. I know I do that too. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but you can avoid these petty arguments on Twitter and social media and these petty discussions that we have to bring up on the podcast because it's our fan base. Just calm down.
We're 60-ish days away from football, and people are losing their minds. I don't know. I just thought it was, like I said, I thought it was a fun, loving comment.
Human
Of
being.
course, the focus is supposed to be on the Giants and Dabble, and they go through each of these. And no, I don't see. Maybe it's because he's not my QB, but you mentioned Drake May, and Drake May stumbled through his recognition, and so it was like Jayden Daniels just was playing it cool. He had a fun response as far as we'll throw the touchdown. Maybe it wasn't the response that people wanted by the book, but Dabble was just like, okay, I like that response, right? And they probably went into detail about well, what does that mean? But that doesn't always make good content, right? You leave it at that. When you're talking about Dabble's probably speaking with a dozen QBs, you're not going through the entire 15-minute interview.
No, just a clip for Hard Knocks. Come on, guys.
So I think that I can't wait for us to have that level of just content that we're going to be getting for our team, because I think it's great.
It's coming.
Yeah. Doug here. JD knew he was not going to New York. He was having fun. Yeah. And that's how I read it. I read it as hey, okay, so where are you going to go with the ball, or what do you want to, I think that what was Dabble's exact question. It was something about,
where are you going to,
what do you want to, or what are you going to do, or something like that. And he said, throw a touchdown. And I was just like, oh, that's fun. Yeah. But
that's Jayden Daniels right there.
That is, that stuff is good natured. And I think some of the better content we can see over here in the off season. What I don't really care to see is when other analysts come up with trade scenarios for our team, because they're really just kind of plucking and not really necessarily too much in the know as far as how things are going. And they're on the outside looking in. And that is exactly what happens, I think, here with Alex Ballentine from the Bleacher Report, who listed 6 players that teams should be looking to trade. And Washington was on here with defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. Alex going in to mention how the team used an early 2nd-round pick on Johnny Newton, had used a 2nd-round pick on Fedarian Mathis. There's only 2 years left on Allen's contract, and there's a lot of money invested in this interior defensive line. And all these are reasons why Washington should just go ahead and ship Jonathan Allen. Trev, before I get your opinion on this, I just have to say I'm so tired of us, being involved in trading away our defensive tackles for, last couple of years. Jonathan Allen's been mentioned. Deron Payne, before he got his contract, was every year, like 2 or 3 years in a row, is Deron Payne's going to get traded. Trade him now while he has value. And it's tiring. I think that this is just, I mentioned it's one of my least favorite things, but it was something that came up within the last week that I wanted to talk about. What are your takes on this article from Ballentine saying Jonathan Allen should be traded from the Washington Commanders?
I don't think he watches the Washington Commanders play football at all. I don't think he pays attention. I think he just looks at numbers and books and makes his assumptions, because that is just blasphemy. Jonathan Allen is one of the anchors on our defense. He's been through so much to this organization, and he hasn't changed a bit. People probably started that he should be traded because he came out, I think, on the Junkies and said that he's thought about playing somewhere else. But it would be like, well, he's a human being. I mean, I would probably think the same thing if I was went from Alabama winning all the time to the Washington
6 losing
football
seasons
team
in a row.
Commanders. Yeah, different owner, different coaches, different, I'd be the same way. But it's Jonathan Allen. He's a Pro Bowl player pretty much all his career with us. He's a captain. He's a leader, like a true leader. He means business. He's
highest rated Washington player in a long time in the NFL top 100.
He gives our decidedly mediocre backfield a chance with his play. He makes the linebackers better, even though we were poopy in that position for a while, but he helped. Just don't trade him. Why'd you pick Jonathan Allen? Because all the money it's invested in defensive tackle? Okay, so we drafted Johnny Newton in the 2nd round. I think he's going to produce better than what we thought Fedarian Mathis would be at 2nd round. And they were both starting out hurt. I think Johnny Newton will come out and, revitalize. trade somebody else. Why are you picking Jonathan Allen? It just doesn't make sense. Because if you do that, our defensive line is shot. No offense. I like Ridgeway for depth. I like Newton, whatever. But on the ends, we got
Newton
AJ
still has to prove
Henry.
himself. Fadarian Mathis
Exactly.
is a non-factor, and Deron Payne thrives because of the attention that Jonathan Allen gets. I get that people really love Deron Payne, and I think he's an exciting monster in his own right. But please actually look at what's going on. And Deron Payne, he can beat his double teams, but he's getting double teamed, and Jonathan Allen's getting triple teamed. Defenses are planning for Jonathan Allen. That's why he can't. That he's just a disruptive force, and he is a monster. I think that, and Locked on Law, you're right. He's the reason why he's a topic is because he has trade value. He's a dog, and he is a monster. He is a player who easily could get actual investment in return, right? Like he's somebody, I don't know about a first round pick, but he can actually get some high rounds, or low rounds, depending on how you want to see, talk about it for Washington in the future. But the thing is it's not like Washington's strapped for cash right now.
Thank you.
That's what I don't understand is Washington still has a lot of cap space. So why are they trying to open up more cap space? What are they using it on?
Brandon Aiyuk.
Woo. No. Trade a premier defensive tackle, one of the top 10 in the league, even on a down year, one of the top 10 in the league. You're going to trade away that for a wide receiver who, in my opinion, is a strong 2. Why?
I agree with you.
Why would you do that?
Oh, and it's just, I was going to say something, I forgot, right out my window.
Yeah, I will say, Doug, you're right. The previous regime did not spend money wisely. I personally, even though we had a full campaign all that season of Deron Payne, that man, we all ended up saying here on the show, Trev, right? We said you just don't give him a contract because you already gave Jonathan Allen a contract. You have Fadarian Mathis, you have Ridgeway, you can draft another guy to, flesh that out. But it was just kind of an interesting thing, now that it's gone through that now Jonathan Allen's back on the trade block for people. And it's just not.
Can we let him play with the new defense first too? Like if he's not producing by trade week or by week, okay, we can start talking about it. I don't want to trade him mid-season still, but if you want to, let a whole year pass. But can we give the man a chance to play in this new defense?
Yeah.
He says he's come out public saying he's liking it. He likes the changes. Let's see if it actually helps.
A lot of people point to his production or Deron Payne's production and that it was down last year. But you got to also think about the fact that halfway through the season, the only 2 threats at edge were taken. And in fact, it was really 1.5 threats at edge that were taken away when Montez Sweat and Chase Young were traded away. Ain't nobody's doubling Casey 2 sacks, okay?
No,
not a soul's doing that.
KJ who? Henry? No.
Yeah, no, not happening. Aaron Jones?
Andre Jones? Yeah. No.
Yeah, Andre Jones? Yeah, not happening. No. Like it's and then more teams were able to do that. Let's see this defense under Joe Witt Jr., Dan Quinn, see what they can do when they have an interior presence that is fearsome and they're doing things on the edge that, actually intimidate. I'm not really high on the edge rushers, Trev. It's not like I think that we've recouped great value there. I think that there's, we didn't get like an A-lister talent, in my opinion, at the edge, but you have Jamin Davis who maybe gets unlocked on edge. You have a couple of guys out there who are good scheme guys. And if you can just collectively pick up some sacks there because of your scheme is allowing Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen to be disrupting in the center and taking the focus and allowing these guys to get after the QB, things will be successful. And I don't think anybody would want to trade away Jonathan Allen after a season like that.
Can you pick St. Juice instead or like Derek Forrest instead? Like, why is it always Jonathan Allen? Like, I don't understand.
Well, they do have to have value, as mentioned before. And I don't think either one of those guys are getting value. You know, we can go back to the gold pants here, Trev, and that might get you a Happy Meal, Benjamin St. Just or Defo there. So yeah. I still think I hope that comes back this year. For our audio listeners, Trev was doing the Benjamin St. Just Lock It Up. I hope it comes back. That's a lot of fun there. So
it is.
we have a lot more people in the conversation here joining us a little bit late. Justin and Drew and EE coming in here a little bit late, but that's all right. We appreciate you joining us. Next time, take yourself to don'tsleepenergy.com. Get yourself 10% off your entire order by using the code DISTRICT, and then you won't sleep through the beginning of the warm-up. You'll be right here, right on time. That's because Don't Sleep Energy is fantastic. They're a DMV company as well. They treat us well. We hope that you might partake in some of their products. Just make sure you use our code. That lets them know that we sent you there, and you can support them, which supports us as well. Don't Sleep Energy makes you great. I got that one in at the last minute because we are done here in the game. We're going to be moving on to the cool down, Mount Rushmore time. We'll see how this conversation goes, as not a lot of views on the Mount Rushmore video that Stoner and I recorded, but that's all right. We've got a lot of people here to talk about their version of the Washington Football Mount Rushmore, including Trev's coming up here in the cool down. Welcome to the cool down here on Ref the District, episode 181. We are in the doldrums of the NFL season where nothing is really going on, and we're forced to talk about gold pants returning and IG photos and stuff like this. And we wanted to talk about something fun, and we wanted to bring content back. Oh, not just on Wednesdays. We stream live every Wednesday here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at 7:30 Eastern. But we wanted to bring back some of the other content that we did. And one of the things Stoner has been pushing to do is this Mount Rushmore videos. So we are looking to go through each of the DC sports, the big ones at least, and pick out their Stoner, before he had to leave for his family, was able to edit the NBA one. That one's going to be coming out tomorrow, I believe. I have to do some behind the scenes work to make sure some other stuff goes up. But we're going to be talking about the one we recorded and pushed out already, which is the Mount Rushmore for the Washington Redskins football team Commanders. Now, Trev, you're a busy guy, so you weren't in on the recording of this video, but you get to join us now to tell us who your Mount Rushmore would be.
Oh, man, it's tough. Sean Taylor, of course, got to be up there, number one.
Really?
Yeah, got to. Oh, man, this is tough. London Fletcher has got to be up there.
Okay.
John Riggins is up there.
All right.
And then my fourth one. I mean, there's so many.
There's a lot.
RG3. No, I'm kidding.
We haven't done this one in a while, Trev.
I only did that because he's trying to stir it up again with the name thing on Twitter. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, of course he is.
No, I'm going to have to go with, man. Doug Williams. I don't know, man. This is hard. It could be a lot of different versions, bro. It just depends on.
It really could. That is interesting. I did not include Sean Taylor, and I didn't even consider him, even though he has a place on all of our hearts, and he was fantastic in the time that he was here. I don't think that his tenure marked that of Mount Rushmore status over some of the other greats. You know, Doug here, who mentioned 50 plus years.
So
you are a younger one too. Yeah, yours was a lot of young ones. London Fletcher, you know how much I love the captain. You know how much the Iron Man means to me. Here. But I didn't put anybody in the last 30 years.
That's okay.
Doug here going Green Riggins T-Man and Williams as his options. So,
Who's T-Man?
I knew it when I
Theismann?
said it. I'm assuming Theismann is what it is. There we go. Thanks.
Yeah, it could be Art Monk, Daryl Green,
Mm-hmm.
Dexter Manley, Sonny Jurgensen. Like, you could put up a whole slew of different ones up there. So, story of mine's wrong, everyone in the comments, but it's just
it is your personal one. It is your personal one. Don't worry. You're not the one who's getting dragged right now on our Twitter because I created the graphic with Sonny, and then Stoner pushed out the graphic mentioning that we picked Sammy Baugh, and people are just going, that's not Sammy, that's Sonny. That's I get it, folks. Even Stoner wanted to know, why did I just go ahead and put faces up there? It's like, because you want the graphic and I have to give you faces. So it's just like, I used the ones who were originally on my 3. Because we were only trying to pick 3 and we were letting people pick the 4th. So mine were Joe Gibbs.
Okay.
Joe Gibbs has to be a lock, right? I mean, there was some discussion on whether or not we include coaches, but I just feel like when you think about the Washington Redskins,
Joe Gibbs.
You think Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
Then I had put Sonny, but he had made an argument for Sammy, and I realized that a lot of the arguments I was making about Sonny were actually Sammy's accomplishments, and I just had my brain wires crossed. It was not a great moment, Trev. It was not a good Nathan moment. And so I was like, you're right. All that good stuff I said about Sonny is Sammy, but I do like Sonny. I think he's a fair choice if you want him up there. I have Daryl Green, my all-time favorite. 20 years, all in burgundy and gold, 2 Super Bowls, first ballot Hall of Fame. Like, just when Jerry Rice talks about the hardest cornerbacks he faced, Daryl Green's one of them. Like, no, gotta love Daryl Green, and his numbers being retired. Perfect.
Right.
I went my 4th, a little controversial here. I went with George Allen.
Wow, the old really?
Yeah, I think that when you think about a lot of the things that we are as fans, that I think it came a lot from George Allen's tenure. It might not have reached the level that Joe Gibbs did. And I talk often about how George Allen was the coach that led to Joe Gibbs, right? And he wasn't the coach beforehand, but he was the coach before the coach before the coach, I think, before Joe Gibbs. He put the franchise back on track. But he's also a big reason why we hate Dallas, right? We want Dallas. Is George? I know you're a Sean Taylor guy, and but that came from before. That our hatred of the Dallas Cowboys comes from George Allen era football and the spirit and just how much fun it was to watch Washington football was a lot about that. But I mean, there's so many people. Any of the Hogs, Riggins. Bobby Mitchell, you got Brian Charlie Taylor. I mean, you can just go on and
Trent
on and
Williams.
on. Trent Williams, maybe if he would have stayed here. If you're going within the last 30 years, Cooley, could be there. Within if you're putting in somebody like that. These are all ones that had
Santana
just missed for me. Yeah, Santana Moss is a big one. Yeah, you got you got Dexter Manley, Joe Jacoby, but. I mean, these are all fantastic names here. Chris Hamburger from Uptown Dre is pushing him out there. So yeah, Charlie Taylor was, I think, Stone's 4th. Yeah, Gary Clark, the Fun Bunch, the Over the Hill Gang. The Over the Hill Gang was George Allen, by the way. Mosley, an MVP.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins was actually one of Stoner's, and I think it was one of his also rans. Don't get me started. I gave him the glare.
Mark Brunell?
Yeah. I did love Brunell, but no.
Mark Rippon?
No.
Mark Rippon?
No. I'd definitely say Doug Williams over Mark, but and I wouldn't even put Heisman up there. Our votes, we had 433 votes in the poll. The ones we gave people to put were Sonny Jurgensen, George Allen, Art Monk, and Charlie Taylor. surprised Charlie Taylor ended up so low here, but I think part of that is just the age of the fans that are here on YouTube. Not surprisingly, the number one that we heard all over our Twitter page and here in the poll was Art Monk.
Yep.
So Art Monk, solid choice there. Set a lot of records. No, Command the Room. I'm not saying he was the fun bunch, but I was listing off some of the players that we had over here, the fun bunch, the Overhill gang, like the Hogs. All these are ones that you can you can look for. It just happened to be after I had said Gary Clark there, but
I saw on the side somebody asked who was the last MVP. Where is it? Right here. Big E wants to know who was the last MVP for Washington. I just looked it up. Joe Theismann, 1983.
Yep,
which is wild because we have like so many variations of Washington Mount Rushmores.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Big E pushing for Riggins right now. I mean, this one was very hard to do because just how many, and then when you're taking to the count, as far as how many of us are young and didn't get to live and watch those glory years. I mean, you and I have talked about this before, as the last Super Bowl came around when I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I think it was 4.
Yeah. We were youngins, right? And so we didn't get to see. So it's
Darius Geis.
What's that?
Darius Geis.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. You want to keep making jokes, mister?
I know he's engaged now.
He stole that girl. Yeah, he did. He's not in the act of stealing. Yeah, I do think that it was a fun exercise to do. So appreciate Stoner for having us do it. There are so many greats, and I think that one of the things that bringing it to the current day, that it seems that Harris, Peters, Quinn understand is kind of bringing some of that back, right? We've been to the stadium and I've been into the USO tent where they have some of the legends that go there. They have the legends area where, some of them were rolling in and whatnot, but it seemed like they were kind of an afterthought or a party favor of sorts, not the main event. And now we're having Darryl Green's number retired. And I feel like we're going to start seeing some more of those who were neglected during the former guys' ownership are going to get their heyday. I don't think they were right to talk about Sean Taylor receiving too much love. Right. But they were right in saying that they weren't receiving enough love. I just felt the way that they had kind of something, I forget who it was who kind of who addressed it, but they were mad that, Taylor they didn't call Taylor out specifically, but of course it was about Sean Taylor, who's received quite a bit of praise over the last few years from the team publicly. But it was just like, how about you focus on the guys who actually won something? And I feel that was not fair and not the right chord to strike with this particular group who, a group of fandoms that really tied themselves to Sean Taylor. But I do agree that it's nice to see these guys get their just due. And maybe this is what it takes to get more of the Hogs into the NFL Hall of Fame. Like, it's a shame that they don't have more in there. And I think that when you start to show love to that older generation, I think good things will come there. So
I agree. Real quick, do you have a Washington quarterback Mount Rushmore on the spot?
Well, I'd go with the Sammy Baugh, Sonny Jurgensen. I will go Joey T, and I'll go Doug Williams.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. You?
I'd probably RG3. It's because I'm young, and he took us to the playoffs, and we haven't been since then.
Sure.
We've had a lot of quarterbacks since. Doug Williams, of course.
Haven't been that football hasn't been that exciting. We've seen playoffs, we just haven't haven't had that level of excitement. Yeah.
The quarterback, Doug Williams, RG3, Todd Beck, and no, I'm kidding, not Todd Beck. Probably, honestly, oh man, this is tough. Joe Theismann, yeah, and Taylor Heineke.
Of course you would. Of course you would. I'm surprised you didn't go with your boy Carson Wentz there. Brian saying scratch Joey T and go with Mark in that one. That's fair.
Mark Brunell. Okay, yeah.
Mark's
so tough.
Yeah, that's fair. I went with the guy who was the league MVP over probably the I don't know. They're both running the similar offense, but Ripken definitely put up some insane stats while he was here. But Sammy Baugh, Jurgensen, and Theismann and Ripken. Yep. So over Doug Williams. I feel like Doug Williams I put Doug Williams over Ripken in this Mount Rushmore, mainly because of the importance historically, right? NFL as well. So it's not just Washington in that regard, although there was a lot to that, but also just being the first black QB in the NFL to win. I mean, you think about that second quarter against the Broncos. That was the biggest comeback victory for the longest time, I think, until 28-3, actually. 10 points. That was the biggest comeback. But yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons to go with him over there. But I mean, it is, man. We've had a lot of bad
Danny Warfel,
Jeff George, Patrick
Collins,
Ramsey,
Gus Farrat, Case Keenum.
Oh, that's so much pain and hurting here. That's just not fair to do to us. Well, it is a short episode here, and between the small times here, as I mentioned, the Washington Wizards, Baltimore Bullets, one Mount Rushmore will drop this week. We're going to be back with some other content, even if Stoner is still out. I'm going to try to get you something next week myself. So be sure to tune into that. Make sure you're here next Wednesday as well. We stream live every Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We appreciate everybody who has joined us live and is still having fun with Mount Rushmore in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe, share it with your friends, and make sure you get out there to our audio platforms and hit that auto download. It does help. And if you leave a rating and review, it's even better. I'm Nathan Perry. That's Trev. We're Ref the District, part of the Believe Network, brought to you by Bet Online and Don't Sleep Energy. And until next time,
leave the team name alone.
Be a fan.